Anytime you want.
Yep, ready to go.
Okay, the mayor's called the meeting to order. On the roll call, Councilmember Aloya.
Here.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Here.
Councilmember Erin Delaney. Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Here.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Here.
Okay, we have 4 ayes and 1 absent, which means a quorum is present for this regular meeting of the Garfield City Council, which is being held today, which is Tuesday, May 14th, 2019. This regular meeting is being held in accordance with provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice has been provided by mail, facsimile, and email to the official city newspapers and to other interested parties, and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin boards in City Hall. If everyone please rise, we'd like to begin with the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a short prayer. Heavenly Father and Almighty God, during this time of year where we normally commemorate Mother's Day, we ask a special blessing on all mothers. We ask a special blessing on this mayor and city council and its administration, that we may be useful to your people whom we serve. And we ask this in your name.
Amen.
Okay, Drew.
The first item on the agenda this evening is the public hearing on the Garfield Riverwalk Extension, Acquisition Phase 3, and the Joseph LaFaso Field and Belmont Oval. The mayor and council continue to support applications for the continuing acquisition of properties. River Drive Phase 1 consists of the Riverwalk from the intersection of River Drive and Outwater Lane running north to the border with Elmwood Park. Phase 2 of the Riverwalk project will consist of River Drive between the Monroe Street Bridge and the Passaic Street Bridge. Phase 3 will consist of that portion running from River Drive and Outwater Lane south all the way to Monroe Street and River Drive. We have the opportunity to acquire 2 parcels of property. We are looking to acquire the parcel of property which is right next to the Monroe Street Bridge. Many years ago, it was a tavern. It has long been abandoned. So that is the focus of one part of this, of the application before the Bergen County Open Space Trust. The other focus is to redo the Belmont Oval field. We have our turf field there. The turf field has seen better days. It is time to replace it. All of the inner workings are there, all of the proper drainage is there, but the actual field itself needs to be replaced. So we are seeking funding from the County of Bergen Open Space Trust Program to assist in that cost, in underwriting that cost for the city. So there are resolutions that will be introduced this evening to support this, but in accordance with the requirements of the Bergen County Open Space Trust Fund, if anyone has any questions regarding any of those 2 projects, you can ask those questions at this time if the mayor opens it to the public.
At this time and this time only, would anybody like to come up and ask any questions? I see no hands down.
Okay, there being no hands, let the record reflect that the public hearing has been held. We will advise the Bergen County Open Space Trust. I would like to, in advance, thank the mayor and council for all of their support to date. Because of the council and their foresight, we will be able to continue the Riverwalk, and we will be able to continue to get support from the county. The county looks at the city of Garfield as a partner that gets its job done, that gets the work done. It is a project that takes a long time. You know that Riverwalk 1 took years and years and years, but it's a project that, when complete, is very valuable and adds to the appeal of the city as you drive in. So I would like to thank the governing body for your support.
Okay, at this time, is there a motion to approve the reports as presented orally and in writing during the work session held earlier this evening?
So moved.
Okay, motion by.
I'll second it.
Okay. Councilmember Aloya, seconded by Councilmember Calendrillo. On the roll call, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Erin Delaney. Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 4 ayes and 1 absent. Resolutions, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, please, Drew.
Okay. Am I to assume we are holding that one resolution in regard to the, okay.
Yes.
So we have 5 signatures on all the we have 4 signatures on all the resolutions listed on the agenda, except number 143 is going to be held. So if there's no objection, all the resolutions listed on the agenda, we will take one roll call vote. On the roll call, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Arundellini. Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 4 ayes, 1 absent. All those resolutions are adopted. Bills and claims, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, please, Chief.
Resolved by the City Council of the City of Garfield that the following bills, number 2165 to 2172, covering dedicated penalty trust fire department, community policing trust fund, dog trust fund, and trust other, totaling $4,715.07, and the current fund reserve totaling $10,286.27, and the current fund totaling $372,605.61, and the water fund reserve totaling $40,661.68, and the water fund totaling $43,100.36, and the general capital fund totaling $505,708.68, and the water capital fund totaling $1,350.00 per attached computer list be ordered paid, and the proper officers are hereby authorized to issue checks for same, provided that there are funds in the respective appropriations. Be it further resolved that the action of the mayor, city clerk, and city treasurer in issuing checks and payment on ratification list, which includes 21 items prior to the meeting, be ratified. Bills and claims resolution is signed by all the council members present. On the roll call, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Arundellini. Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 4 ayes and 1 absent. Okay, on introduction, we have an ordinance to amend Chapter 191 of the City Code of the City of Garfield entitled Laundromats, specifically Chapter 191-4, therein entitled Hours of Operation. This ordinance is introduced by all the council members present. On the roll call on first reading, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Arundellini. Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Bob, I just a quick question, Bob. One of the reasons why we are able to limit the hours of operation for a laundromat is because they have to be licensed?
There's a number of, that ordinance has been in existence a very long time.
No, I understand that.
That there are certain criteria that they're involved with water, people assembling, businesses being open at that time, and licensure is one of them.
Okay, so it's easier to give a person, to limit their hours when we give them a license than to when we don't give a business a license, is what I'm actually saying. Thanks. I vote aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 4 ayes, 1 absent on first reading. Ordinance passes on first reading. The next,
For an introduction.
2 ordinances are held. So, on introduction, an ordinance to amend and revise Chapter 128-4 of the City Code of the City of Garfield. This has to do with dwelling certificate fee for the City of Garfield. The ordinance is introduced by all the council members present. On the roll call on first reading, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Arundellini. Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 4 ayes, 1 absent. The ordinance passes on first reading. And finally, on introduction, we have an ordinance to amend and revise Chapter 142-5 of the City Code of the City of Garfield. This has to do with the Fire Bureau fees, and the ordinance is introduced by all the council members present. On the roll call on first reading, Councilmember Aloya.
Aye.
Councilmember Calendrillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Arundellini. Deputy Mayor Joseph Delaney.
Aye.
Mayor Rigoloso.
Aye.
Okay, we have 4 ayes, 1 absent. The ordinance passes on introduction, and that concludes all written items for voting at this time. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council.
All right. Tom has to leave, so we'll excuse Tom. At this time, we're going to open it up to citizens or taxpayers. If anybody would like to come on up, please state your name, address. There'll be a 3-minute window. Thank you.
Edward Devine, 159 Market Street, Garfield. A couple things. I believe animals, dead animals in the street, this was something I believe that may have been covered or may have been attempted to rectify the issue back when Ms. Raymond was mayor. Not really sure. I came across a situation the other day. There was a dead animal out by the middle school. Animal was there in the morning, animal was there in the afternoon. Animals probably would still be there if it hadn't been raining. You know, the county's totally overburdened, cleaning up roadkill, deer out on 17, real stuff that would cause a car accident. So, you know, in all my years here, 26 years, I've picked up numerous dead animals from the street in front of my home with a shovel. I know there's no point in calling the county. I think I've seen once that the county actually was out there picking up a dead animal. There's no reason for kids to have to walk around dead animals on their way to school. Sure, it's not going to affect an adult, but it's going to be traumatizing for a little girl to have to step over a dead possum or cat or whatever it is. It ruins their day. I don't understand why we can't get somebody from the DPW or somebody that works for the city. Now, there may be some kind of training involved, so they don't catch rabies. Maybe we gotta purchase a couple long-handled shovels, some plastic bags. This should be something we should be able to take care of ourselves during business hours. There's no reason, the county is overburdened, they cannot do it. I think we all know that. If anybody has had the opportunity to call the county to pick up an animal in the street in front of their house, they know it. It doesn't happen. So this is something I think we should look into. I don't know whether there's contracts involved. These guys got it in their contract that they don't have to pick up dead animals. I'm not really sure. Just something that we should probably look into, I think, because it's not fair to the kids. It's disgusting. About 2 years ago, I live on Market Street. A city inspector came down and knocked on everybody's door who had sidewalks that were ajar due to trees, sinkage, whatever you want to call it. And they were told they had to repair their sidewalks, whether have them shaved, have them replaced. A bunch of people did. They were threatened with fines and citations. The portion of the sidewalk down by Jewel Street where Fleischer's Brook is, which I brought up numerous times, is in complete disrepair. I know there's a question, unfortunately Mr. Dutch walked away, of whether the responsibility lies with the city or the county. And I believe that is still being spoken about at whatever level it may be. My point is that if the city can knock on people's doors and tell them they have to take care of their sidewalks all the way up and down Market Street, and people running out, paying contractors to come and put in new sidewalks in a state of panic, how can the city allow that condition to exist? Basically worked around it. And what we have over there is basically a hole. I have pictures, I've shown the council the pictures in the past. The city's gonna ask homeowners to take care of this stuff. I would really think the city should be prepared to take care of their own sidewalk. How can you expect people to take care of their own stuff if you're not gonna take care of your own stuff?
Yeah, thank you.
The corner of Alwater and Midland where the gas station was, what has that turned into over there? Is that the New Jersey Turnpike? We have all those tractor trailers over there. We talked about the entrance to the city, cleaning up the city. Wawa looks great. We have the river walk coming out of Ellen Park. Coming out of Lodi, we have what looks like a truck stop on the New Jersey Turnpike. I don't know whether there's any kind of zoning regulations concerning that, whether that's totally legal for those people, whoever owns it, I don't know. jam those tractor trailers in there like that. Disgusting. I think I'm on the turnpike when I see that stuff. That's all I have. Oh, one more thing. 144, resolution authorizing a refund due to overpayment for the year 2019. What exactly does that mean?
I'll take a look. Sometimes the bank pays twice, sometimes it's,
Pays who for what?
pays the city of Garfield twice. If somebody overpays, we're entitled to return the money to them. It just says it's strictly an overpayment by the taxpayer.
So we're returning the money back to the taxpayer.
It's just a little bit vague. For what, for when, for whatever. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Devine. Anyone else would like to come up and speak?
Good evening. Bob Blazer, 145 Lincoln Place in Garfield. I went to visit a friend last week on a small crowded street in Garfield. And there were 5 handicap signs within a 10-house area. I'd like to know what the criteria is to give out a handicap parking space. The sign goes up, are they temporary or permanent? And is it monitored in any way to make sure these handicap spots are actually legitimate? In other words, if you see somebody come home and start carrying 50-pound bags into their house, you know, are they really handicapped? I'm starting to wonder if there's so many now, and I notice wherever there's a lot of 2 families with no driveways, there's more handicap parking signs. So my concern is that maybe some people are taking advantage of a handicap parking sign. And I was wondering if there's some monetization that you're doing that can make sure that these people are handicapped. And that's basically all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Anyone else would like to come up and speak? Kevin?
Mike Denistrian, 104 Palisade Ave, Garfield. Last Thursday, I showed the mayor at the meeting a rivet that I found at the, what do you call that, the trestle. I wanted to check out the new paint job. And to my surprise, I found a rivet on a broken rivet on the ground. And a lot of the work that needs to be done isn't done. I'm not going to let New Jersey Transit off the hook just yet. A lot of things still need to be done over there, and I wish the council would push the effort to continue for them to come back. Right here, I could actually show you what the river looks like. I busted, and there's a bowl next to it that would be a replacement. That replacement, believe it or not, I went to, what do you call that, Walmart, Home Depot, and I purchased one just to find out what it costs. And it was under $5. I got the nut, I got the washers, and what do you call that? They're actually less than $4.12. But this is 3/4. That needs a 1-inch bowl, so I'll go $5 for the bowl. And washer and that. The thing is, that trestle was built in 1899. It's now 120 years old. Last year was 119 years old. And it needs to be updated with maintenance, especially the tracks on top going to the north side. I looked at it last year. I took pictures. I went and looked at it again, it looks even worse. A lot of the bolts are jumping out and they're facing this way to the north. Why? Inertia, because when the train stops, it picks up the tracks a little bit, and the bolts are heading toward the north. What we need is to keep the pressure on New Jersey Transit, because Norfolk Southern also uses that track to haul oil, Norfolk, the bulk and crude oil from Dakotas and whatnot coming down here. And now with all the problems in the Mideast, they're gonna need even more oil coming down to Linden, New Jersey, to the refineries. But I still want to see the railroad ties replaced. They're all rotted. The bolts are jumping out even more than last year. And the tracks are moving. You sit there, you sit at the bench, you can watch the track moving up and down, up and down. I mean, where it shouldn't be. It should be tied down. There should be cement. They got these new railroad ties that are made out of plastic, I hear now. And I don't want to see a derailment in Garfield. And I'm actually thinking it doesn't look good. I've been in maintenance since I was 19 years old. I worked on the DEW line. My uncle sent me up there for 6 months. I worked on a radar base and heavy construction. I worked in construction and service all my life. And now I see things like this going on. A lot of people don't care. They're just traveling underneath, back and forth. They don't care about little things like this, but I do. I'm in maintenance, and I've been there a long time. Even though Joe Delaney doesn't think I'm qualified because I'm not an engineer, but yet I taught night school for 6 years, and and I was qualified to do that. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is I'm not letting New Jersey Transit off the hook, and I hope the council does the same thing. Let's keep on pushing to see how much we can get out of them, even though I know they're going in a hole, financially. So there's a little story behind that little flyer I gave you, and it shows you they had trouble since they built it in 1899, that they had trouble with drainage, and they still got trouble over here. So I just want to make it aware to you. I want everybody over here to keep pushing and getting on New Jersey Transit's case. All right? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Danstra.
Where is my bolt? You could have the flyers. But if you read that, you read those little articles and they'll tell you about the story. That was in Barnes and Noble, in a book that about Garfield. It cost $20. Thank you.
Joe?
My name is Joan Vanis, 20 Whitworth Place, Garfield. Last week, the city council rescinded a resolution to prepare a study for the redevelopment of the property next to CBS, and that resolution was rescinded.
Yes.
So my question is for the attorney concerning the resolution 17057, which was passed February 23rd, 2017, and it was for the second phase of the First Ward redevelopment, the properties from Palisade down to River Road. And that resolution was passed February 23rd. So my question for the attorney is, why hasn't this resolution been rescinded? Does it need to be rescinded? What happens to a resolution that's passed? To me, it sounds like an open pass resolution.
Can I see that?
What was the resolution, Mom?
17, on the map, too.
I don't know.
17057.
I believe this was rescinded.
17,
057.
Can we do the resolution to rescind this one?
I mean, I don't know.
You can't memorize everything.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we'd have to look.
Wasn't that the request of the property owner to have it rescinded?
Midland Ave.
Oh, to have it rescinded?
Yes.
I don't think that's.
Yeah,
The
was.
Midland
one.
Ave
The
one?
Midland Ave.
Yeah,
That was-
it was
the
Midland
property owner didn't request to have.
No, I requested that one.
He purchased it, that wasn't a purchase.
Requested the
Yes.
resolution to rescind, and we adopted.
Right, basically, Mayor, if I may,
Yes, go ahead.
I raised a question on the floor that we haven't heard anything And then it was mentioned that, and I asked, is it proper to rescind it at that point?
Right.
Yeah, but she's talking,
She's talking
Ms.
about
Myers is talking about another parcel back in
2017. It was the first ward, the second phase of the first ward.
second phase of the first one. But I don't know the property that you're talking about.
Well, it was all these properties from Palisade Avenue all the way down Passaic Street to River Road. It was the second phase of the redevelopment project. The first phase was the one that
Right.
was knocked down. It was the second phase, the
Yes.
resolution. This map is from City Hall.
No, I know, I'm just looking, I'm trying to look at their map.
And this pink area was the resolution 17057. I was just curious if it was rescinded. If
No.
it wasn't, does it need to be rescinded?
No, because Passaic Street's still in the area of redevelopment. I don't think that second set. And I'm not sure, so, I believe that second phase hasn't been rescinded and it's not out of the redevelopment zone. But all that Passaic Street is still in the redevelopment zone. Nothing has been changed on that end.
So that resolution is not supposed to be rescinded?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Now, I could be wrong, but we'll double check it anyway. Yeah, and that's still, yeah, no, I don't think we did. No. Is there anyone else who would like to come up and speak at this time? I see no hands, I'll close the council comments. Councilman the lawyer.
Okay, with regard to Jewel Street, you're right. We have to get onto that, Mayor.
Yes.
I think there's no question that if we're not doing our responsibility on our city property and the sidewalk, we need to do it. Bob, with regard to the handicap space, annually, the police department cycles through. They're the ones that issue the handicap. The applications have to be made through the police department. The only thing the council does is just authorize. It's like the hiring and firing of fire. It's a volunteer. You apply to a fire department. The fire department decides if they want to keep you or not. We just have to do it on a ministerial basis of passing a resolution. But I also think that that's a valid note to make with regard to the future development of our program of evaluating the vehicles, that if in the future we can incorporate those cars that are claimed to be handicapped, that we also know if they are or they are not active. Because you're right, what happens is sometimes, God forbid, somebody passes away, and then the family likes the space, so they retain the space. And then it takes a year before the police department has the option to go through the process to say the anniversary has now come up, reevaluate the application. So they do it, but what happens is that, and then thank God, and maybe in some other way, we're living longer and people are having the need for handicap parking. If they get qualified as a handicapped person with regard to their doctor and motor vehicle, we really have very difficult time saying, no, you're not handicapped. It's not our job to test them. But I think that's a really good observation if you don't already have that in the works. They're always so far ahead of me, I resent that. These two guys are so good at what they do. You can see it in their face. Mike, with regard to New Jersey Transit, I really do think that if a citizen comes up and makes a statement, whether it's correct or incorrect, we don't even need to judge you on that fact. But just by the matter that they make a safety statement, I think it should be conveyed in some way through communication to the powers to be and say, look, this issue came up. This is what's going on, just to let you know. I think New Jersey Transit at times falters, but I also think that most of the time, they're pretty much on the mark. But you're right, look how long it took them to paint our trestle. We've all been begging for that. But as with anything, it's the begging that every municipality has to give us. I do like your photo, because there's nobody parked on the street. Isn't that nice? We had no problems in 1899 with parking. That was the best part of that photo.
Just
to all
road
of the-
apples.
What's that?
Just road apples.
Just, that's it, exactly. There was a horse-drawn carriage somewhere there. To all of our citizens, recognizing that the services will be for Memorial Day, this year on Sunday. The mayor has instructed us that there will be a parade on that date. I think it's a worthy day that as many people come out and recognize the people that are here and those people that are not here. That's the key on Memorial Day, not to forget the people that give us the opportunity to be the people of free speech and free statement. So to that, Mayor, thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Calangelo.
Yes, Jonah, I'm not sure that resolution, if it had the eminent domain in there. So, Mr. Attorney, if we could have an opinion on that, whether or not that does, because of the eminent domain and the fact that the city lost the case on the eminent domain, if that has to also be rescinded. And Mr. Danistrand, I really take, I'm happy we have somebody like you that watches over things like this, because I believe you are qualified in your past experience. I remember I've had many conversations with you on the schools and the systems in the schools, and so I think the more people that watch out for the city on any different avenue, on any different project, I think that's for the best of the town. It is good to see that the trestle is being addressed. The rust was, Mayor, I know you mentioned you like rust, but sorry to disappoint you, but I know you pushed to have this done also. So it's good for the community. It's something that was an eyesore for a long, long time, and it's a start of something on Passaic Street. There's a starting point, and then there's an ending point. So I think this is a good thing that's been going on. But however, the structure, we have to stay on top of them, make them aware of things, and if they still keep signing off, then we've done our job. Mr. Devine, as far as the sidewalks, there was a time when someone falls on a sidewalk, it was strictly the property owner's responsibility, and that's who would be sued. But there was, the way it was explained to me a number of years ago, there was a successful lawsuit that they were able to sue the city and the property owner. And that's when municipalities started being more aware. I think if we could go to your house and ask that the sidewalk be replaced, then it's the city's responsibility to take care of our own property for two reasons: because it's the right thing to do, and because of just a liability issue. Someone falls, now it's brought to our attention. You ever see where they circle the potholes and they bring them to cities like New York, they bring it to their attention in case someone falls in that pothole, then they are really liable. So I think that's something that we need to look at immediately. And the trailers on Outwater and Midland, I mentioned this at a meeting a while back. If we're looking at things, this is the entry gate to the city. It's something that should be also addressed. Let's see. And as far as the handicap spots, Mr. Aloya did address it. It's always been where there's a process. Doctors, they have to sign off that someone truly is handicapped. They apply to the city. We have our police investigate it to make sure. It used to be that you could not have a driveway. Mr. Babe Semino, when he was the chief, asked that we institute that if you have a driveway, you cannot get a handicap spot. But we've learned of some situations where driveways aren't always the answer, because sometimes people can't use the driveways because it's not their home. So there are some exceptions, and that's basically, we go on the recommendation of our police who do the investigative work. And as long as the clerk says that everything is in order, then that's how it usually goes down. So with that, we're looking forward to our Memorial Day service and Memorial Day parade. I just want to compliment the high school, Garfield High School Hall of Fame. They had a very successful dinner the other night. They brought some honorees in, and a number of great people who attended Garfield High School and really exceeded and did well in sports. And Also, the community award went to Sue Scadillo, which Sue is well-known in the city and has done a good job as a teacher and the guidance counselor. And also, I want to congratulate the Garfield Little League and Babe Ruth for having a successful pasta dinner, and they had it at the Boys and Girls Club. So with all that being said, thank you, Mayor.
Deputy Mayor?
Yes, for Mr. Devine, yes, I agree with the DPW picking up the animals. I don't have a problem with that. I suggested that, I know, a while ago, and I don't see why they can't, but definitely something to look into. Also with the raised sidewalk, I agree. I mean, the same thing with cutting the grass. We give tickets out for homeowners not to cut their grass, but then the city has parks where the grass is sometimes a foot high. So how could we give a homeowner a ticket when our own parks aren't looking that sharp either? So I definitely agree with that. With the handicap signs, I know I gave our deputy chief some addresses that was given to me with regards to handicap signs. They feel that the person who had it passed away, but they kept the sign. So if you do have addresses, I would recommend that you give them to the city clerk, who could pass it on to the police department. Because there are signs that, people do pass away. But as far as finding somebody lifting 50 pounds of groceries, that's, if they have a note from the doctor saying they're handicapped, then there's nothing that we can really do. But there is people abusing the system, definitely. Mike, I don't know, I don't remember ever saying that you weren't qualified, Mike. So I don't know who told you that, but whoever did, I guess wasn't a friend of mine. But what I do know, Mike, is when we met with New Jersey Transit, with the engineers, with the head engineer of New Jersey Transit, up on the trestle, I took her word over somebody who wasn't, representative of New Jersey Transit. Mike, I didn't interrupt you, so please don't interrupt me. That's where I'm at with that. And I have to take their word. They're a professional engineer that works for New Jersey Transit. And if she tells me it's safe, what am I gonna do? So that's, I don't know who told you I didn't think you were qualified, but I didn't. But, also, I know, I think that was about it. With regards to the trucks being parked on Midland and Outwater, I've been complaining about the parking of vehicles throughout garages, shops for months now, and it seems to fall on deaf ears. So I'm with you. I mean, I'm trying to clean up the city big time. We're having, I know, a city cleanup citywide. I believe it's June 1st. It's
No,
coming up soon. When is that?
I think it's June 8th.
Okay, it's
June 8th.
citywide cleanup throughout the whole city. But I am trying to address the parking with shops with ordinance that we have on the books now. And also, I'd like to introduce a new ordinance, which is a nuisance ordinance, which other towns do have, just that City of Garfield don't have one. So basically, it's everything, accumulated together where, you have to be a good neighbor. It's a shame that we have to pass an ordinance for people to be good neighbors, but it seems that we have to. Some people just aren't good neighbors. On a good note, myself and Councilwoman Erin Delaney, we attended the Community Block Grant meeting last week in Bergen County. And it was said last meeting about going to Atlantic City and paying this money, for us to stay there is a waste of money and a waste of time. Well, because of going to Atlantic City and going to meetings with how to negotiate and networking, the city of Garfield last week received over $500,000 in grant, community block grant. Now, it goes to, and that money is going to be going to bringing up the tracks on Monroe Street. We got $400,000 from community block grant money to remove the tracks on Monroe Street. So that'll be happening soon. And that's what happens when you go to, and you network with different people. So you're able to get grants. And that's why the city of Garfield is so lucky to get all the grants that we have. You don't get those grants by sitting up here and saying it's a waste of time and money to go do these things. You definitely don't do that. That doesn't help. But with that, Memorial Day is before the next meeting. I'd like to wish everyone a happy Memorial Day and come out and see the parade. That's it.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Ed, Yeah, with the dead animals, I agree with you. No, none of our students should be looking at dead animals on the street, sidewalk. I don't know why it takes so long. I know the animal controller. Ours is through Bergen County. They come by and they pick up dead animals. I don't know the process, but I was once told that when you pick up a dead animal, they have to chop the head off, send it to the state for rabies or whatever reason it is. But it shouldn't sit there for days and days and days. Someone should get down there as soon as possible. So in the meantime, I agree with you. DPW, someone should get this animal to the side, cover it up, and so the proper authority can take it and investigate it. The Jewel Street sidewalk, I agree with that 100%. It should be taken care of. And I don't ever remember anybody mention anything on Midland Ave and the trucks there, but I do agree. I don't know why they're there, and it should be looked into. Bob, with the handicap parking, yeah, if someone is using handicap parking and they're not handicapped, it's a shame. But I do know, I have a friend who has a daughter who's a paraplegic. There's no parking there, but when she goes shopping, she is carrying 50-pound bags out of her car, and she has a handicap license plate. It's the only car she uses because that's the car they use for her daughter and everything like that. So, I'm not too quick to judge because I know people do judge her when she pulls into a handicap spot. But this is, and she tries not to when she goes to, well, actually, I don't even know that, but in front of her house, there's a handicap spot, and people judge her because they see her walking out of that car because she's healthy, but it's more for her child, not for her. So, I'm not too quick to judge on that, but if people are taking advantage of it, I don't know how we monitor it, but it should be monitored better. And I met with South Garfield last Thursday. We spoke about it. I know Mr. Dennis Strand showed me the bolts and everything. I had some pictures. We tried to pass it on, and it does look shaky. Not even that bolt. That's the same bolt you showed me. That could have been just something that was discarded, but I was more concerned about the bolts coming out of the pictures we showed. And we tried to contact someone from New Jersey Transit, but that was to no avail, and I'll follow up on it to see what happened. At least we could show them those pictures of what's going on. I have to believe that if they painted that, New Jersey Transit painted that trestle, that, as they're painting it, they're inspecting it as well, but I'm just guessing. With the parade, we have a new route. It's going to go down Midland Ave, making a left onto Van Winkle, starts at the monument down by Passaic Street. It'll go down Midland, making a left onto Van Winkle, making a right onto, Chestnut, all the way down to Outwater Lane, and then making another right onto, and then it'll be finishing up in Columbus Field. That'll be our new parade route. Hope everybody could come out to the parade. Hopefully it's a great day. And I'd like to talk about bike safety. Lately, I see a lot of kids out there in their bikes. And it's tough for parents. Parents tell, we teach it at the school. I know they teach it at the elementary school. There's assemblies on bike safety. I know Sergeant Lasica and the community police, they're doing these assemblies all through the elementary schools and even the middle school. But for some reason, it's up to the parents to make sure their kids are wearing helmets. I'm going to school on the other day, and I almost witnessed an accident where the car avoids a kid riding his bike. And this is about 8 o'clock in the morning, and they almost swerved and hit another car. So you hear the screeching of tires, and the kid just keeps driving away like he didn't even notice what happened. Last year, about this time, there was a serious accident in Garfield. And, if any parents are watching on TV, it's important that you teach your kids bike safety. Ride with the traffic, make sure you have reflectors on, and wear your helmet at all time. It can save your life. And, definitely, if you're at night, stay off the streets, stay on the sidewalks or on the bike lanes, and ride with the traffic, not against the traffic. Accidents do happen. You don't know what the cars are doing, and, accidents happen. So, that's my little spiel on that. And, hope everybody has a great weekend. Meeting adjourned.
Motion.
Okay, motion by
I'll make the motion.
seconded by Councilmember Calendrillo. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.